So in the last video, I mentioned that you have a way of dimming the LEDs so you can bring down the brightness. So this is from Soundtraxx manual, and it has to do with their lighting effects CVs. So what I want to talk to you about is how you get there from point A to point B. And let's see, I need to get my pointer here. Hang on a sec. I gotta find it around here somewhere. I know it's here. Let's see here. Oh yeah, here we go. Found it. Hang on a sec. Okay, so the hyperlighting effects deal with these CVs right here, CV49 through CV54. And you have these extra soldering points on your decoder, FX3, FX4, FX5, and 6, and they're duly marked in there. And each one of these CVs corresponds to this, which corresponds to the F function on your controller. So the one I'm going to talk about is FX4 and how we got there. So I have a sample here with the equation. I want to talk about how we got to the number that's on there. So if we look at this simply, FX4 equals CV52. So whatever we change in CV52 is going to affect FX4. Okay, so what we do is first we figure out what we want to do. For this, because it's LEDs, we put in 128, and that's a standard default set by Soundtraxx. And the other thing we want to do is we're going to set what they call a brightness registry, which in this case is 19, which gives us a total of 147. So we go in to our command station and we type in CV52 and give it a number of 147. The default number for these guys is 15. Okay? And we also have to go to CV61, which takes care of how bright it is. The default for this is 153. And for my preference, I set this down to 50. And that gives me the brilliance that I want. Also for headlights or anything, it seems to work really well. Okay, so how did we get bright 1? Well, bright 1 is part of this gaggle of numbers that Soundtraxx has come up with. So you have these effects down here, 1 through 25. And you'll see here that here's 19. And so that's on-off, brightness 1. Okay, so that's where we get the 19. And again, the 128 is a default number that is derived by a standard set by Soundtraxx. And this is also documented in their manuals. And we talk about it right here. We talk about LED compensation mode. And it says right here to add a value of 128 to enable LED compensation mode for the corresponding lighting output. Okay? And by default, those lighting outputs are referenced down here, which I just showed to you. Now, CV61 is a brightness registry. And there's actually two of these. There's CV61 and also CV62. And CV62 has a value of 20. So if you could have two registries doing two different things for you, say CV62 could be the number boards on your locomotive. You might be able to turn the brightness up or down on those if you wanted to. But this is done in percentage. So it's 0 to 255. The default is 153. And I set mine at 50%. So you can move this up and down any way you want to, depending on how you like the brightness. The 255 would be just glaring. I don't know. I'm not even sure the LEDs would last too long setting it up that high. Don't know, not sure. Just a thought. But the default is 153 for sure. So let me go back to my kludgy little page here. Okay, so this is FX4, which is CV52. LED mode is 128 by default. We're using bright registry 1, so it becomes 19. The total is 147. So you put a value into CV52, 147, and then you change CV61 to 50%. And I said the default is 153. So we're dropping it way down from what it should be. And again, just to paraphrase here, here would be registry number 2 or brightness 2. That would be CV20. So it would be 128 plus 20. And that would give you the number that you would put into one of these values if you wanted to do a different lighting effect. Just for your information, anything that blinks, Mars light, oscillating light, strobe, fire flicker, anything like that, you can't change the dimness or the brightness of that light. It's standard, so this won't work. It has to be an on and off situation. Okay, so that's an explanation of how that works. It's not mysterious. It's just got to know where to go to make it work.